Hello everybody. Oh my gosh, it has been like 4 years since I've been in front of a camera like this. This is like, it's so exciting. A little bit strange, but I literally love the feeling of being in front of the camera, talking to you guys directly and more intimately, and it gives me a chance to give you some more information. For all the new people coming to my channel, my name is Mark Anthony Sapeg, and I am just a bald guy with lots of plants and a camera that loves to record himself, waterfalls, and just really beautiful shit. So I hope everybody enjoyed, the Southeast Asia vacation series that I just wrapped up posting over the last few weeks. As you saw, we were in Southeast Asia, specifically in Bali, which was my third time being there and Mario's first time. We were there for about 4 days, such an amazing time. And then we both had the pleasure of going to the Philippines for both of our first times. And honestly, what an amazing, life-changing trip. It's such a beautiful place. Highly recommend. It's certainly unlike any other place in our opinion. So today's video actually involves me going a little bit back into my old video style, which is just giving some really helpful tips for people out there that are really just looking to do shit in a smarter way, right? Because we just honestly need to all collaborate and share the knowledge, not gatekeep anything, and honestly establish the facts and be transparent about our trips, about how we were affording things. Today, I am here to tell you that it is absolutely possible to fly round trip in business class to Southeast Asia or similar for less than $300. Now yes, I know exactly what you are thinking. That's absolute BS, it's clickbait, I'm lying, and I just want to get views. No, there are so many smart ways for you to be able to get on the path to being able to do that. And I am going to give it my best shot at giving you some of those tips. So we have to start with the facts of this past trip. So I must admit, I'm gonna be a little bit of a plug here. This trip would not have been possible if it was not for my fabulous, super convenient, super advantageous Capital One Venture X credit card. My family always cuts ass on me because I'm always just like advertising Capital One because I think it's just such a really good way of racking up miles to be able to like travel in freaking luxury and save so much money. But yes, the facts. We actually ended up flying to and from Southeast Asia with Singapore Airlines. For anyone that is not aware, they're like the second best airline in the world right next to Emirates. And let me just take a moment to say our journey flying in business class was honestly freaking magnificent. The staff and the flight attendants, they were honestly so accommodating, so kind. And of course, let me be real, the fact that I was able to be in a lie flat bed on an 18-and-a-half-hour flight was, you just cannot beat that. That is something that's like unheard of, except unless you're like super rich. And honestly, do not get me started on the food. It is very hard to come across airline food that is like bussin'. Singapore Airlines has some good ass drinks, number one, which comes in handy on those 18-and-a-half-hour flights. And all of their entrees is honestly really good. Flavor-wise, presentation-wise, everything. So in total, to book this trip, it cost us a little more than 400,000 miles. I started in 2018 with my first official travel credit card, which was the Capital One Venture, which is sort of like the baby Venture X. When I got that card, they had a sign-up bonus of like 75,000 miles, and I had never really redeemed too much after that because I really didn't know what to do. I was just like, all right, I have 75,000 miles, let me just like keep racking them up for when I could do it. Fast forward to, I believe, 2021, end of November, beginning of December, Capital One ended up premiering their like super premier Amex Platinum level travel credit card, which was the Capital One Venture X. And at that time, they had a 100,000 mile sign-up bonus, which is crazy. So yes, I had a huge head start from two ways. So in addition to the 400,000 miles, here's the mind-blowing part. We did not spend thousands of dollars out of pocket. We spent literally $100. I think it was $100. I'm gonna put up the visuals up here so you can see what it was, but it was an insane price. You're probably thinking at this point, yes, it's much easier said than done. And I know it seems intimidating, but I assure you, there are various steps that you can take to being able to make this a effortless, convenient, and easy process. So my first tip, and this is probably really useful for all my young girlies out there that are just, getting onto the world of financial independence. Stop using your debit card and do some research and figure out which would be the best first credit card for you, whether it's a cashback based credit card, simple rewards credit card, unsecured, secured. Just get your first credit card. The issue with debit cards is not so much that they suck, it's really just touching on this idea that you should really let your money work for you. Do not let it just go to waste or just get spent without having any kind of value. When you get a credit card, you actually start generating credit. And as we all know, all these young people and older people out there, credit is everything, like literally everything. It determines if you can get an apartment, it determines if you get a car, a house, anything you want to do in life, credit is somehow involved. Don't be afraid to go and get your first credit card. That is going to be the best first step that you can take to being able to make yourself a credit-worthy person in this crazy, crazy world. So my next tip, and this really takes into consideration that you've had your credit card for some time, you've now built up more credit history, and you have a higher credit line, so you're ready to put on your card larger purchases. Start putting all the large purchases in your daily life on your credit card. Whether that's your rent, your mortgage, your groceries, your gas, your transportation. When you're putting it on your credit card or your rewards credit card, you are basically letting all of your purchases increase in value. You start accruing points or miles. The good thing about putting your everyday expenses, both small and large, on a credit card is that it really expedites the amount of time that you will take to build up all of your travel rewards. We put like literally everything on my credit card. Utilities, our rent. Thanks to those things, we've been able to rack up hella miles in such a short amount of time. So wherever possible, without maxing out your credit card, just try to put as many large purchases on your card as possible. Maybe you can ask your family members to put one of their large purchases on your credit card. But best believe you better make sure that they give you the money for it, because ain't nobody out here trying to subsidize other people's lifestyles without proper reimbursement. So tip number 3, now's the time when you have your brand new, shiny, sometimes even metal travel rewards credit card. You got it because you saw that shiny ass 75,000 bonus miles when you sign up for it. And alas, you are encountered with what we all have come to know as the minimum spending requirement for that bonus. In this world of travel rewards credit cards, they always advertise this big, amazing, unheard of rewards bonus that you get when you get the credit card. Believe me when I tell you, your bonus that you get with each of these credit cards is essentially like the catalyst of you being able to make these big, cool redemptions. But a lot of people tend to overlook exactly how you get to that bonus. This is where it really becomes important for you to make sure that you are able to meet that minimum spending requirement. For all of my travel rewards credit cards, on average, it's been like, you have to spend like $3,000 or $4,000 in the first 3 months. For a lot of people, that may not necessarily be realistic. So it really requires a lot of internal reflection and review of like your monthly finances, or if you have a big expense coming up, you really should be doing the legwork to determine that once you get that credit card, you are able to meet that minimum spending requirement. Once that deadline comes and you have not spent the minimum spending requirement, you just do not get the miles. So my next tip, and this is where it gets a little bit lucrative and a little self-preserving, but it's okay. We have to be sometimes. You should never overlook a credit card's referral bonus that they give you. The referral bonuses are sort of like the credit card company's incentive to cardholders to just like advertise the card and get more people to sign up. I'm pretty sure I've referred like 6 different people to get a credit card, and that's why I'm like sort of like known in my family as like the spokesperson for Capital One. The really good thing about these referral bonuses is that you can easily make up to like 75,000 to 100,000 miles just from referrals. So if you know someone that is a little slacking in their credit card game, it's okay. We were all there once. Anyone that has like a big purchase coming up or is really interested in like doing travel smarter, refer them to your credit card. Now, one thing I will say, which I honestly do not like that credit card companies are really sneaky about this. If you are referring someone to the card, you have to make sure that they do not have any other credit account with that bank. Otherwise, you don't get that bonus for them. So while you're making that nice little pitch to your family member or friend for the credit card, make sure to find out if they have a pre-existing credit account with that bank, because you want to make sure that you can get your miles somehow, some way. So my next tip, this actually touches on the aspect of travel redemption that a lot of people are pretty intimidated by, and rightfully so. It is by no means the easiest thing in the world to redeem these miles for a nice business class trip. Unless you are a super expert and you know everything and anything about redemptions, this tip is really to just avoid using all of those reward calculators out there like points.me and other ones that like offer to show you a path to making the redemption. None of these portals, some of which actually charge you for, which is out of this world, they're not that accurate. They will show you things based on searches that were done like a month ago or best estimations, and I think a lot of people will go and rely on those search engines and they'll be like, wait a minute, why is it that when I go to make the purchase or to do the search, I'm not seeing these things on the website? What I would say is simply just stick with the airlines and their direct booking process. This just ends up, for me at least, avoiding all of the chaos of like going through like 30 different pages and calculators to see how many miles you need. When you do it directly with the airline, you avoid the hecticness of relying on third-party information to make your redemption, and that can save you a lot of headache and a lot of disappointment. Now, I will say though, there are some really great resources out there created by really regular travelers that have become accustomed to doing these big travel redemptions that are there to serve you and share this information. One of those sources for me, which I'm so happy I found and still continue to use this day, is the 10x travel blog. I follow them on Facebook, and part of getting into this group on Facebook is you have to take like a travel course, and in that course it literally gives you all the information that you need to understand terminology in this world, to understand the processes behind getting these flights, and it gives you like a really cool head start. So I will link it in the description below so that you can join the group, and it's honestly such a great resource, and I'm so happy to like just share it with everyone that I meet that's interested in this cool area of travel. So this next tip touches on probably the coolest and most convenient aspect of the travel rewards credit cards. And this tip is to really make sure that you are fully aware of all the transfer partners that a particular credit card has. So once you get your credit card, you have all your miles and you look to see how you can redeem them. One way is to transfer them to what's called these airline partners. All different credit cards like Chase, Capital One, and American Express have different, although overlapping many of the times, list of airline partners that you can transfer to. And they have different ratios. A lot of them are usually 1-to-1 on how you can transfer miles over to that airline partnership. A really nice thing is that occasionally some of these credit cards actually do transfer bonuses. So for example, if you transfer to like, let's say Air France, some credit cards may give you a 25% bonus. So without sounding too complicated, a 100,000 mile trip would only cost you 75,000 miles. I think that math is correct. I hope it is. If it's not, feel free to cut my ass in the comments. It's okay. The reason why it's so important to be aware of these travel partners is because a lot of times there may be a varying amount of time between your transfers. For example, some airlines you can transfer your miles over from your credit card to the airline instantly. It'll be there in a matter of seconds. Others, unfortunately, can take up to like 3 days to transfer your mile. When you start looking at these travel reward redemptions, some of them can literally be gone the day after you find it online. And alas, my last tip for all of you getting started on your journey to these really cool reward redemptions. This is sort of just like an FYI because like I said before, we just really have to like learn how to manage expectations. So a common misconception about these big redemptions is, okay, once you get the credit card, you should be able to make these redemptions every month, multiple times a month. Unless you are a big baller or you're super wealthy and you have money, these redemptions are not going to be super frequent. The reason why is because when you are making your miles work for you, which tends to be when you're booking like business or first class flights, those are a lot of miles. And let's be real, even if you're putting all of your largest purchases or just random one-time big purchases, it does take a time to build up those miles. Just remember that these redemptions are just not going to be all the time. What I will say though is that when you are able to make that redemption, you are going to feel so fulfilled, so happy, and honestly so successful, because dead ass, you are successful. You did it. You were able to book a business class trip regardless of if it's one way or round trip on a flight that otherwise would have cost you like more than $5,000. That's what all of this is about, guys. It's just traveling and living smarter and making all of the things that you do every day just work for you and benefit you in the end. So guys, that does it for this video. I really hope that these tips were helpful and they were a good little insight / head start into this really crazy world of travel redemptions and travel credit cards. I would love to do more detailed videos about the process, about the different credit cards out there, about my experience with which credit cards I have. But I really hope that this was just a very general, high-level overview, and I hope you guys enjoyed it and you found it helpful. If you guys have any questions or any comments, or if you just enjoyed the video, let me know how you felt. Let me know your thoughts, and I can't wait to continue putting out more videos like this and helping us all just travel smarter and honestly just making all of our journeys cuter and not so much of a struggle. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment or question below, and I will see you all next time. All right? Take care, y'all. Bye.